Byte of Apple with Daniel Black.
Hello everybody, welcome to a big bite of Apple. I'm your host, Daniel Black. You may know me from the myapplespace.com and the Mass TV podcast that is from myapplespace.com. And today, on today's podcast, I'm just gonna tell a little bit about myself, then get to some of the news stories, and just get from little bites to just the big bites of Apple and the news stories in the latest week. I will be trying to put up episodes every Saturday, and let's start it off with a article by Bloomberg that was posted on cnet.com. Apple iPad 3 may get March release date and may have 4G capabilities. So here we go. According to Bloomberg, the iPad 3 will land in the calendar for the first quarter. Bloomberg cited manufacturer partners in Asia. In addition, the iPad 3 will sport a quad-core chip. The iPad 3 is expected to be one of Apple's big revenue drivers for the upcoming year. While the iPad 3 is critical, most analysts expect the iPhone 5, which is also expected to be 4G friendly, to drive sales more. Well, you can't just go ahead and call it the iPhone 5 because you never know what's going to be called. I truthfully think if it's going to be with 4G capabilities, they're going to make it the iPhone 4G. And anyway, it wouldn't be the iPhone 5 because the next iPhone will be the 6th generation iPhone. So if they're just going to go ahead with a number, it has to be the iPhone 6. Volume manufacturing is expected to ramp up in February, according to Bloomberg. If Bloomberg's report is on target, Apple is likely to see a slowdown in iPad 2 sales, which may already be taking a hit from Amazon's Kindle Fire. There has also been speculation that Apple will keep the iPad 2 around and may have multiple price points. And continuing on that multiple price points, they said that most likely, probably the number one price change they're going to make to the iPad 2 is lowering it from the lowest price from $499 to $399. And I'm pretty sure that price would be for the 16 gigabyte non-3G, just the 16 gigabyte Wi-Fi iPad. So, let's get to another story. I'm looking this up on my iPad right now, because I have another story here. There it is. This is another interesting one. Another interesting story here. That on January 13th, they were supposed to have the iPhone 4S start being sold in China, but that didn't happen because of what happened right here. The introduction of the Apple iPhone 4S in Beijing turned ugly Friday morning, talking about January 13th, 2012, when Apple failed to open its flagship store and a frustrated crowd reacted by pelting the store's gleaming glass walls, you won't believe this, with eggs. That just brings up one question in particular. Where in the world did they get eggs? Where did they get eggs? Wherever they did, I don't know. Apple said in a statement that it had temporarily suspended sales of all iPhones at 5 of its mainland China stores out of concern for the safety of customers and employees. The phones will still be offered online through Apple's through Apple's official partner, Unicom, and at authorized resellers. The statement did not say when Apple stores would be resumed selling the iPhone 4S. Demand for iPhones in China far exceeds supply, which have spawned an army of scalpers who hire migrant workers to snap up products that the scalpers then resell at much higher prices. the horde of more than 1,000 people who gathered outside the store Friday, as you know, in Friday as January 13th, in the Sanlitun district of Beijing included organized teams of migrant workers, indefinable, or whatever that word is, by matching armbands or hats. Some of the migrant workers said they were bussed in and promised payment to 100 renminbi, or about $16, for purchasing a phone. $16 in U.S. currency for purchasing a phone, an iPhone. That's pretty amazing right there, but I will get more on that story in a bit, and I just want to have this quick message from our partners over who is making this show possible today. A big bite of apple with Daniel Black is brought to you in part by myapplespace.com. A little space for the rest of us. Okay, there's that little message. Thank you, myapplespace.com, for helping us with this show. Now let's just introduce a little bit about, and let me just tell a little bit about myself. I'm Daniel Black. I live in Memphis, Tennessee. I have just an obsession with Apple Inc. I'm gonna have an episode of this podcast where I film the episode, and I'm gonna have a little tour of my little room where I shoot this, and I have a little Macintosh Classic and a little original Macintosh brochure on a little shelf up there, and there's a great eBay find that's an original Macintosh for about $100 that I'm bidding on, and I just want that really badly to get up there with the Macintosh Classic. I am really into game shows as well as Apple, and I also love golf and just sports. And so that's just a little bit about me. I bet I'll be saying much more about me in shows to come. And let's just continue this. Let's go on eBay. Look at some eBay finds. Excuse me. Here we go. Let me go on electronics. Go on computers and networking. Down to vintage. Apple. And as you know, this is just Apple computers that I'll be talking about here. So let me just go down to the ones that will still be selling for a while, that are good finds here, that will be selling for longer. Here's a good one. Vintage Apple IIc, 128K. It is 4 bids right now at $122.50. 2 days left on that. Then there is a Apple IIe computer. 24 days on this one. 24 days, has a buy it now price of $139.95, and it has free shipping. Here is a 1988 Macintosh SE. Keyboard with bag and mouse and other accessories. It has 2 days left on this bidding. Has a buy it now price of $50 and has a top bidding price of $42. Let's see here. And here's one to just go crazy about, an Apple II. An Apple II, 9 bids, $76, with 2 days left. That is a find I will be bidding on, because the Apple II is the computer I really want in my collection. This one's really good. A Macintosh Portable, came out in 1989. 6 bids of $61, and it has 2 days, 18 hours, and 54 minutes left on that one. And I'm just going to say one more and then I'm finished. An Apple eMate 300 has a buy it now price of $79.99. And it is ending in 2 days, 9 hours, and 11 minutes. So that is your eBay finds. And, let's go look up some more Apple news. Here's one about John Sculley, the former CEO of Apple, who, of course, probably is most famous for firing Steve Jobs in 1985. This is a story, another CNET story, of a John Sculley interview with BBC. And this story is titled, John Sculley Happy Jobs' Biography Cleared Up the Myths. And it talks all about how John Sculley, he's happy that it just shows what Steve Jobs really was as a person, because by what John Sculley is saying in this interview, he clearly did not want to say anything. He was just holding it back, and I just want to let you read that. It's on cnet.com. So thank you for listening to my podcast today. I know it was a short podcast. There's going to be longer podcasts in the future, but thank you for listening in, and I'll see you next time.